Around 40% of all food in developed and developing countries is lost to waste yearly. In the United States alone, an estimated 133 billion pounds of food worth approximately $161 billion goes to waste yearly. The United States Department of Agriculture Economics Research Service defines food waste as the component of food loss that occurs when an edible item goes unconsumed, as in food discarded by retailers due to color or appearance, and plate waste by consumers. In this presentation, we will explore three specific categories of food waste: production, retail, and consumer, as well as their causes, ethical implications, and place in global society.
The main reason for production waste is overproduction and a lack of harvesting by farmers. Frequently, farmers plant more crops than are needed for fear of crop loss due to weather, pests, and disease. However, many of these same crops are left in fields because farmers fear flooding the market and decreasing the sale price. A lack of harvesting also occurs when the cost of transportation and labor exceeds the cost of the product on the market. This combination of overproduction and a fear of a lesser revenue results in 6 billion pounds of produce being left unharvested each year. These are crops that could be used to feed the underprivileged and starving. Not only that, but in 2007, a total of 3.5 billion acres of global land was prepared to grow crops and support livestock that would be left unconsumed and wasted. By wasting this land, farmers are contributing to enormous amounts of water waste through irrigation and water pollution through unnecessary pesticide use. These factors lead to a key economical and ethical decision for producers. Should they overplant to ensure enough crops to earn a living and risk wasting food as well as resources? Or should they plant only the needed amount and risk a lack of production and revenue losses?
The retail marketplace is another main contributor to food waste. Stores often deliberately overstock shelves in order to portray abundance and drive profits. This technique has been practiced in grocery stores across the developed world for decades. Extreme standards are placed on aesthetic appearance of fruits and vegetables as well. Produce with any bumps, bruises, or odd shapes are often thrown away because they are not likely to be bought by shoppers. In 2008, 43 billion pounds of food was thrown away by grocery stores. Additionally, expiration dates on manufactured goods give products a severely limited shelf life, as grocery stores generally have policies in place to remove any items whose sell-by date has passed, regardless of if those products are still perfectly edible, as is often the case. While some grocery stores have adopted programs to sell food that is past its sell-by date for a discount, or to donate unappealing produce to food banks or resource centers, there is still a significant amount of food that is sold to retail stores that ends up as waste.
The five main causes of consumer waste are food spoilage, overpreparing, date label confusion, overbuying, otherwise known as bulk purchasing, and poor planning. Most of these contributors can be avoided by an individual's decisions. By making purchasing decisions such as creating a shopping list and buying in reasonable amounts, consumers can reduce food waste. One ethical question that consumers struggle with is should they contribute to food waste by throwing out food past the expiration date, or should they reduce food waste by eating the food and risk getting sick? Contrary to popular belief, expiration dates are actually not accurate for spoilage, but rather indicate the peak quality as decided by the producer. Therefore, it does not hurt to consume items past the label date. Additionally, by choosing to eat leftovers and food that is close to expiration, consumer waste due to food spoilage and overpreparing can be lessened. Another key ethical implication in consumer waste is composting. Composting is the main way to reduce consumer waste, but few people make the effort to actually compost their food scraps. Many consumers decide not to compost and assume that others will compost instead. This decision has huge consequences as food waste contributes to 21% of landfill volume, resulting in 8% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions.
An overarching implication of food waste is its relation to global hunger. Whether a producer, retailer, or consumer, human beings must make the choice of wasting food knowing that other humans are starving. If just 1/4 of the current amount of food wasted globally could be saved, it would be enough to feed 870 million people. If all the food was saved, it would be twice the amount needed to completely end world hunger. However, saving food is not a reasonable answer to food waste, as sending food places with starvation is not economical nor practical in terms of keeping the food from spoiling. Instead, a multitude of solutions, some of which are yet to be discovered, must be applied to solve the problem of food waste. In addition to global hunger, overconsumption of resources poses a huge problem when talking about food waste. Food waste is responsible for the consumption of 21% of all fresh water, 19% of all food fertilizer, 18% of all cropland, and 21% of all landfill volume that is used by humans. This type of unnecessary consumption can have catastrophic effects on Earth. Humans must continue to take these side effects into consideration when deciding how to solve the problem of food waste.